55, come on. Get out! Get out!
1, 2, 3.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen. Get out.
Not even death can save you from me.
Boys, welcome back to the channel. From the very outset, this video will convince you of one thing, that I am a clown.
Send in.
Dead set. In our last video, we hawked 22,000 plus Travancore corpses searching for high runes. If you haven't checked that out, I'll leave a link down below. While we were successful in finding high runes, ultimately, we didn't find enough to roll our 2 infinities. As a refresher, I'm still on the hunt for high runes until I can roll my self-willed and mercenary infinities. That opens up so many more builds for my single player account. In this video, we now turn to Lower Kurast. Lower Kurast is known on single player as High Rune Central. As many of you know, you can roll a Lower Kurast map on single player with 2 campfire tiles. The closer to your waypoint, the better. The campfire tiles look like this. As soon as you find one of these round campfires, you're in luck. You will note that the gameplay you're watching right now is 1 campfire. That's because this is my weapon rack map. This will all be explained later in the video. So, within the huts around the campfires are 6 super chests in total. You can see from this diagram that those super chests each have 65,534 set drop patterns. When you dial the player count up to 7, 18 of those patterns contain a high rune. And for high runes, again, we're counting Ohm, Low, Sir, and Burr, which can drop from these super chests. So, in effect, pop super chests on player 7 until you hit a high rune pattern and repeat. It's not rocket science. While Lower Kurast is tried and tested, I spent 24 hours popping super chests without a high rune. No, you didn't mishear that. 24 full in-game hours and 3,000 Lower Kurast runs without a high rune. I'm sure by the end of this video, even some veteran players will learn what not to do in Lower Kurast.
Don't do what
Dead set.
does.
Ultimately, I did end up finding the high runes for my 2 infinities and learned so much about Lower Kurast along the way. And this is after 20 plus years of playing this game. So sit back, relax, have a laugh, and I'm sure there'll be something for you to take away from my suffering. And just before we jump in, if you're enjoying my content, be sure to like and subscribe. Almost 97% of my viewers are not subbed, so hitting that button would mean the world to me. Alright lads, let's get it. So, kicking things off, pretty dumpster tier on run 9 with a pull rune. In our first mass Grand Charm identification, we do pick up a passive and magic skiller here with some decks. IDing a bunch more on run 154, and we do pick up that Warcry skiller with life. Flying through our runs, I do try to keep these pretty quick. We're up to 279 here, and we do pick up another mid rune, which is that Mao.
Okay.
On run 477, we pick up one of the only mid runes I actually care about, and that is a nice Gull rune. 3 off an overall perfect small charm here.
Oh, that's a shame.
We pick up a pretty nice ring, some FCR, attack rating, life steal, replenish life, and res. Again, another skiller in our batch here. We pick up a P&B with gold find. You can see our average run time's about 30 seconds. We're at run 634 here, so smashing through the runs. We pick up a nice Ist rune from one of the super chests. And just after, we do identify a really handy +4 all res small charm. This next skiller is trash. Never nice finding curses. Just to paint a picture, this is where I start getting a bit concerned. I mean, we're at run 701, no high runes. We do pick up that Gal rune, but things are a bit sus here. You will soon find that Lem runes become the bane of my existence in these sets of runs, but here we go with number 1.
I don't give a fuck.
This is pretty cool, not a 320/20, but we do pick up a 116 with +5 to MF. Here we go, lads, with Lem rune number 2 out of the log. How good is that? Alright, that was quick. That's what she said. Wrapping up our first 1,000 runs and moving on to the next. Of course, lads, it wouldn't be a set of 1000 Lower Kurast runs without a Lem rune. Get your guesses down in the comments about what this next GC is. Yeah, that just about sums it up, lads. Ask yourself, is another Mao rune really what I want to find on run 1111?
Okay.
Enjoy the charm identification while you have them, lads, because later on in the video, I stopped that for more rune finding efficiency. But here we go with a +1 to martial arts. And if you thought we were done with the Lem runes, you were gravely mistaken. Here we have number 4.
Hey, fuck you, mate!
On this occasion, picking up a very nice Grand Charm, we go ahead and cycle through the GCs and pick up that +1 to masteries, 38 to life. Certainly getting very odd at this point. Run 1567, no high runes, but we do pick up that rune. Certainly had our fair share of bad skillers, and here we go with another shitter.
Brother,
So run 1746, we are flying through the runs here, lads. We pick up a couple of skillers. The first one here is +1 to summoning skills for the Necro, and then this crap. Here we go, closing out 2000 Lower Kurast runs without a sniff of a high rune. Lads, I have no choice but to crack on.
How about another
1000 Lower Kurast runs.
Murray?
no, I think we've had enough of you.
Lower Kurast runs. Despite Murray's terse rejection, we do proceed with the next 1000 Lower Kurast runs. Our next set of GCs, we do pick up a max damage, attack rating, and life GC. I hope you're starting to see a common theme here, lads. On run 2131, we pick up another suspicious Gull rune. Call me superstitious or a conspiracy theorist. I actually check that I'm on player 7. I bring myself down to P4 and then back to P7 just to be sure, and then crack on. Another run, another mid rune, very, very suspicious. We get an Is rune on run 2381. Our old friend, the Lem rune, is back for more. Poor, really frustrating me now. Lads, this is no joke. We move to run 2386 and find another shitty rune. I then turn my session time on just to show how long I've been at it without a high rune.
What the fuck is going on here?
Look, still not a high rune, and if there was any more validation required for this game needing a loot filter, I mean, look at that. Hiding in there is a Vex rune. Of course, it's the highest rune we've found, but still not Ohm or above. Lads, I've got to be honest with you, the Lem runes are really testing me right now. If I ever got my hands on this Lem rune, phew. Lads, what do you reckon the next one is? How about another Lem rune?
I'm getting really sick of you!
So lads, call it 2,600 runs that we're up to here. I have resolved to the fact that I will be finishing 3,000. We do pick up another Vex rune, but very interesting as we still haven't found Ohm or up. Again, the pattern continues. We do pick up another mid rune that we've found time and time again, which is that Ist rune. Closing in on 2,700 runs, and what are we greeted with? Yet another Lem rune.
The game is broken!
I can almost hear you laughing it up at my expense, lads.
What?
Just, you're funny.
You mean,
So?
man, let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little fucked up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
So, lads, really closing in on 3,000 runs. On run 2,842, we pick up another Lem rune. This is far too frequent for coincidence, and I'm really concerned something's wrong. So on run 3001, I really just wanted to take everyone through a standard run just to show that there was nothing out of the ordinary. We're on hell difficulty, we have our 2 campfire tiles, and there we go, we run through, you can see the campfire there. We pop our 6 chests a run, and you can also see our average time now is down to 27.6 seconds. So we really quickened up as we got our pathing right. And the last little point to show there is that we are on player 7 as we go through these runs, with each capped off with a waypoint back to Act 4 as a time saver. So capping off with a ridiculous 18,000 Lower Kurast super chests opened, how did we go?
Open the chest. I need to see it.
Lower Kurast! So if Lower Kurast wasn't going to give me a high rune, I decided to make my own. Lads, don't tell anyone. We can just keep this as our little secret. Lads, I am so done here.
Get me out of here!
So, overhanging from our last few videos, and basically from that Ohm rune, this is what I now had. So it turns out with cubing all of the runes we have together, we actually have enough for 1 infinity. We cube 2 more vexes into an ohm, then 2 ohms into a low, 2 more ohms into a low, then we go low, low, sir, and then another low, low, sir, and then 2 sirs into the second burr that we needed, giving us our burr, mao, burr, and ist. So I chose my first infinity to be a scythe for my self-willed characters because I really wanted to get my Nova Sorceress off the ground. Stupidly, I thought it would be a fun activity to roll with my partner, so please enjoy. Okay, we're going to be rolling our infinity, and I need to use this as a self-willed character. Okay, so the only thing I care about is the 45 to 55 enemy lightning resistance. That's got to roll 55, close to 55 as possible. 45?
No bueno.
We're done.
Oh, wait, is what?
Like in terms of our relationship.
Oh, good.
All right.
So
Okay.
we need 55.
So I'm going to do the burr, mal, burr, and then I'm going to give you the ist to click. All right? Burr, mal, burr, ist. Burr, mal, burr, ist. All right. I'm a bit scared. Yep. All you got to do is click.
Okay.
Just click the damn thing.
Okay, just click here.
55, come on. 49. Get out! Get out! It's below average. Get out!
It was always going to be bad.
Cheers, thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, boy.
Show yourself! It cannot be. Forgive me. I mistook you for
The Sorceress.
I am.
The Sorceress.
Rather
The Sorceress.
as
She.
should have been.
Lads, I'm going to fly through the build showcase here. We've got our Infinity, Griffins, and all the rest. Very standard. FCR ring to meet the breakpoint. Those boots with some lightning res, magic fine. We've also got some resistance, MF, and faster hit recovery charms. 2 skillers, our Sunder, and our Geeds. Obviously, Torch and Annie. And then we've got our CTA and Grim Shield on switch. As an ES build, enough strength and dex to wear your gear. The rest goes into energy. We've also maxed out our resistances because the Nova Sorc is very squishy. There's our plus to lightning damage and negative enemy lightning res. And of course, 105 on the faster cast rate to meet the breakpoint. So ended up recording the skill tree a bit later than the others. We get our 1 into frozen armor on the cold spells, 1 point in those, and then we max static field, max Nova, max lightning mastery, telekinesis and ES, and 1 into teleport, and then 1 into warmth on the fire skills. As for the Merc, we're running Holy Freeze for crowd control. We've got our Row, Demon Head, Fortitude, and Insight for the meditation. So I was super keen to get out of Lower Kurast and really just wanted to take my Nova Sorc through the pits and terror zones and hopefully pick up a high rune here or there. First thing we end up picking up is this Ethereal Superior Balrog skin, which is really nice.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Again, taking the Nova Sorc through the pits, we end up picking up a really cool one here, which is that Spired Helm. It does end up rolling a Nightwings, but not the best. On the way to pick up the leg from Tristram, we pick up that unique pair of Boneweave boots, which are, of course, Marrowwalks. As we know, the Cows is a great place to go and farm high runes, and the Nova Sorc's actually quite good in here. Better than my Paladin. We do drop that Mal rune over there, end up picking it up and popping it in the stash. Here is just a very quick reminder that the Cows are not to be trifled with.
Don't kid yourself, Jimmy. If a cow ever got the chance, he'd eat you and everyone you care about.
Not too sure that was a clever move.
Another thing the Cows are known for, that's of course skillers. We do pick up that Grand Charm over there and identify a nice 1-to-bomb crossbows. The Nova Sorc's definitely not the best boss killer, but we do go ahead and take out Mephisto, and he drops us a nice Carrion Wind. Running through the ancient tunnels, don't ask me why, I guess just because it's a level 85 area, and we do pick up that +1 to Shadow Disciplines. Always a really sick one to find. We are running through the terrorized halls of the dead, and we do pick up that unique Hydra bow, which is of course Wind Force.
Wow, is very nice.
Maybe a cool one for the Auradin, I've got no idea, but we do pick up that Grand Charm, which rolls +1 to offensive auras and 7% on the run walk. While we are having fun with our Nova Sorc and we do identify a nice unique troll nest over in the background there, something inside me really wants to give Lower Kurast another crack, as I just can't resist the temptation of popping burr runes.
Oh, there he is! What are you doing? Is that your wife over there?
If I was going to do Lower Kurast again, I really wanted to understand the maths behind what was going on. I've always been terrible at numbers, so I got my mate to put something together. With 18,000 chests open, 65,534 chest patterns, and 18 possible high rune patterns, he determined that the chance was 0.7 of not finding a high rune within that time. I hope that formula makes sense to someone. In any case, what became clear to me was that this was more than likely not a coincidence. I did some digging and found this fascinating video by Ginger Gaming Mentor. Be sure to check out the full video and his channel if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the description below.
From the, what, like 40, 50 freaking burr runes sitting in my stash. And if you doubt that I got all these while I was, you know, on live stream, you can go back and take a look at my live stream. I guarantee you they're all there. Every single one I found on live stream. And another burr rune to add to the pile. It's so silly. It's just silly. I'm gonna need a burr rune mule. Bet you never heard that before. Holy Jesus. I think we just proved something else. They're identical. Holy crap.
As I prepared to go again, the key takeaway from GGM's video was that Lower Kurast on single player can have deterministic drops if things are done the same way sequentially. This is tied to seed, and as the clown that I am, I continued to find the same runes over and over again because my pathing was so precise. The high level, just do random shit and see what happens. So in that process, we go ahead and start popping poppables around the place, and it's a good sign from the get-go on run 8. We do end up picking up that gull rune from a skeleton. Not a high rune, but the first sign of life that things can happen. Shit lads, that sounds like the montage music coming up, and that means I've got to get out of here. Does the new approach pay off for me? Well, wait and see. Enjoy, lads, and I will see you on the other side. So yes, we are successful with the new approach. We find plenty of high runes, more than enough for our next infinity. And I really just want to walk us through the big boys, those big drops there. So you can see here, my approaches have been completely different. I mean, my average time's about 50 seconds. We pop our low rune there, but this is after hitting weapon racks, logs, skeletons, you name it. But yeah, boom, the change in approach really mixes things up and gets us our first high rune. So low rune number 2, this is after 175 runs. I also want to point out the fact that I'm starting in Act 3 instead of starting in Act 4, which I was on the last occasion to save time. Popping things, hitting weapon racks, hitting chests, and boom, there we go. Low rune number 2. I was absolutely over the moon at this point. I hadn't seen a high rune in so long. It was just so awesome to finally pick a couple up. So a bit of a spell between our first 2 low runes and our next high rune, which was our first Sorc rune. You can see up there we're run 493 at the moment. And we're also starting in Act 2 just to shake things up. But again, weapon racks, chests, poppables, the whole shebang. And of course, we pop our Sorc. This was huge for me because at that point with the 2 low runes and the Sorc rune, I had my first burr for my second infinity. So I was basically a burr away from infinity number 2 and quest done. So you can see it's been a bit of a dry spell since our Sorc. We're at to run 1012, and at this point, just to shake things up, I just wanted to show that I re-rolled my map. So still Lower Kurast, still player 7, still hell difficulty, just a new map. But we've also got our 2 campfires right near the waypoint. So not long after run 1389, the change of map actually pays dividend for us. We end up popping around, hitting the log, hitting all things we can, that chest there. We also do a bit of walking as well, not just teleporting. We eventually get to our lucky super chest and pop that Sorc. So this is awesome. We're now 1 Sorc away from our infinity. We've still spent 19 hours in Lower Kurast in this next session, so it didn't happen overnight, but definitely a lot more lucrative than the last. Here we go again, lads, and the picture I'm really trying to paint for everyone here is that there is absolutely no method to this madness. I'm just popping around, I go into the wrong areas, and then go back into Lower Kurast, hit a log here or there, start in Act 4, start in Act 3, or start in Act 2, whatever it is, walk around, teleport, pop things. That's just the way that's been working for me to date, and a bit of a longer one on this occasion, but we do eventually go ahead and pop our next high rune, which is our 3rd and final Sorc rune. So I am super pumped at this point. That means our second infinity is done with that 3rd and final Sorc rune. While I really have no reason to stick around in Lower Kurast, I got greedy and spent a little bit more time there. So this was the big one, and I actually woke my partner up while she was trying to sleep. I was just kicking off. I couldn't even believe it had dropped. This is, of course, the burr rune. Obviously, player 7 Lower Kurast can drop up to burr. There's only 2 burr patterns on player 7, so they are extremely rare, but here we go. I mean, how awesome is that? It doesn't matter how long you play this game. When you find a burr rune, whether you pop it from a Lower Kurast chest or drop it in Chaos, it is still so sick.
Slow down, baby.
So while I did find some mid runes here and there in the second set of runs, I really didn't want to labor on them, and I really just wanted to focus on the high runes. What I will highlight in the background there is a weapon rack that dropped me a 4 open socket ethereal cryptic axe. That got me thinking, What about my base for my second infinity? I wanted to use a man catcher for the attack speed and crushing blow. Again, doing some research, I found these two really great videos. They both discuss the same things, and that is seed manipulation with weapon and armor racks to continuously farm the same items. Both Llama and Phil's videos are in the description, and I strongly suggest you go and watch those. The high level is this. On single player, weapon and armor racks drop the same item over and over again when they're approached in the same way. So, my quest, find a man catcher seeded weapon rack and farm it over and over again until it drops a 4 open-socketed ethereal man catcher. From my initial testing where I found a CV seeded rack and I also found a Thresher seeded rack, the best approach is to slowly walk up to the weapon rack and touch it in the same way every time. However, something really important to highlight is that if a pack is around or a minion or a group of minions, it will effectively taint the drop. And what I mean by that is it will not be the seeded drop, it will change. I'll highlight this later on, but the key is it makes it very difficult to find the seeded weapon rack drop when there's minions around every time you pop it. So I milked the Thresher weapon rack until I got my 4 open socket one, which I had to roll, and then I went on the hunt for a man catcher seeded weapon rack. To maximize weapon racks closer to a waypoint, the best way I found was to spawn in, make a new map, and just spin and teleport in a circle until you find these two particular shaped huts. So the one on the right are our super chest huts. There is always a weapon rack in the top hut of those. And then the one on the left is a smaller little hut, and there is always a weapon rack in the middle of those. So lads, after hours and hours and hours of resetting my Lower Kurast map and finding dog shit seeded weapon racks like dirks and short swords, this finally happened.
Holy Santa Claus shit.
We held the champagne on ice until we confirmed the seed with a second drop. So I was messing around with approaches, and on some occasions I was getting halberds. This is a good example of a tainted drop. We've got packs everywhere and we drop a poignard, which is random. What I found was that halberds and battle axes were dropping when I was approaching more side on to the rack. And when I was coming from more top down, so you can see here approaching the weapon rack from on top of it, I was getting man catchers. So I came from Kurast Bazaar and actually teleported my way all the way down. So coming from top down, even teleporting over the hut and getting the man catcher. And so this is pretty nuts. Early on when I'm testing approaches to the weapon rack, have a look at this. We find the unique man catcher.
I am flabbergasted.
So Llama, Cooley, and Phil all speak about this in the videos I referred to earlier, but effectively you can farm weapon and armor racks for the unique variant, but they are exceedingly rare. So we end up with the perfect top-down approach to nail our man catcher basically 90% of the time, save for scenarios where it's tainted, and we go and we go and we go until we pop our 4 open socket ethereal man catcher. So did I think I was going to spend 4.5 hours looking for a 4 open socket ethereal man catcher? Hell no. In the end, we just end up rolling our own from one of the ethereal bases that the weapon rack drops. Could I spend an indefinite amount of time looking for a 4 open socket ethereal superior base? Sure, but I've just had enough. Given the festive period, I also thought a Home Alone 2 edit would be nice. Ethereal 4 open socket man catcher. Yeah, that was trash, even from my standards. Anyway, so I also wanted to confirm with everyone whether or not player count actually affected the drops from the weapon racks. All of the men catches that I found from the weapon rack were on player 7, so I dial things down to P1, I then dial them down to P3, and I've just included them here for you, and then I go on to P5. I really just wanted to show that from my findings, the seed associated with the map and the weapon rack doesn't change whether the player count's lower or higher. So basically just do it on P1 to keep things simple. So with our runes in our base, we cube up our burr and get ready to roll our second infinity. All right, we're back and we're rolling the second infinity. And this time the infinity is for my mercenary, it's not for me. Okay, so I don't care about the negative enemy lightning resistance, but the infinity rolls 255 to 325 on the enhanced damage. Okay? So I want to see 325. Anything less, it's over officially. Like no more chances.
Nice. Bring it on. Bring on the 255.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. Good to know that you love me. Burr meow. Burr. All right. I'm going to give you the ist.
Okay.
So
and just click.
All you got to do is don't.
Ah! Okay.
Okay, count me in. Count me in. Because I get
okay,
nervous.
ready? 1, 2, 3.
That is the worst thing. That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I guess I'm moving out. Christmas did not come early for you.
Fucking shit.
That couldn't have been worse.
Get out.
Bye, guys. It's been real. I'm going to go pack my bags.
Wow, lads, what a journey. So in the end, we rolled our 2 infinities, but to be honest, the most valuable takeaways from this experience were the things I learned about Lower Kurast and also about weapon and armor racks. So here are the 2 material points. First, when you're running Lower Kurast on single player, popping those super chests and looking for high runes, make sure to mix it up. Don't be a clown like me and get your pathing so precise that you get the same drops over and over again. Second, it appears that the weapon and armor racks have some sort of connection to the game/map seed. So if you're patient and dedicated enough, you can literally farm the perfect weapon or armor base for that rune word you want to roll, provided the weapon or armor rack can drop the item you're looking for. Of course, these findings apply to single player, not online. Ultimately, I hope through my suffering, even some veteran players can have some key takeaways from this video. There's nothing left to say to you lads other than I am extremely grateful for all your support since I started this YouTube channel. These videos take a lot out of me, but it's certainly all worth it when I get the opportunity to engage with all of you legends down in the comments. If I don't post again before Santa comes to town, I just want to wish all of you guys a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So with that, take care, keep slaying, and I will see you kings in the next one.